5, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Hey everybody, we are here on this lovely Monday night. Night full of basketball. We got some NFL free agent news that's been kicking off. The draft is approaching. The combine has been going on. I have not been watching. I am not gonna lie to y'all. But that is what it is. A lot of fights this weekend. I told y'all there's gonna be some fights, and there was some fights this weekend, boxing and MMA. We'll get into that. And tonight we got some basketball. Cleveland and Boston is a 9-point game with 6 minutes left. Philly is playing Indiana, and that game is a 2-point game, and just starting in the fourth quarter. So a couple good ones going on that we'll keep you guys up to date on. But we know why. Actually, before we get into that, what's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling?
What's good with you, Ray? I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm excited. Exciting day. Another opportunity to do a show with these dashing gentlemen. These
that was Dev. He was suited and booted this weekend. I saw you on social media, Playboy.
Oh man, you know
and that wasn't. How did I get gunshots for that?
I don't know. Knowing you, man, it's always you gotta. You like, you know how you cut the light off in the room. You know your kids like, Daddy, it's a monster underneath my bed. You gotta check underneath to make sure you ain't underneath there. You gotta watch you sometimes, right?
I hear you. But congratulations! A weekend of love for Dev. Some fun things. There, Kenny. How about you? How was your weekend, brother?
It was all right. I experienced my first barn bash. It was a fundraiser for the school I coach at. So that was different. And a little silent auction and all of that type of stuff. And it was in like this open like barn type of setting. So it's interesting. Raised a lot of money for the school, so it was a good cause. So, but definitely a first time experience for me.
Okay. Cool. Glad to hear it. New experiences. I definitely support new experiences. So speaking of new experiences, I don't know if I've ever experienced Jon Morant. This has been a whirlwind of a story that seemingly keeps getting worse. For those of y'all who was here last week, I started the episode off passionately upset, not because I felt he was guilty of what he had done, simply because he had consistently put himself in bad positions. That has grown to flashing a real gun during real Instagram Live out of state.
Oh, my God!
Right.
And so the concern now is, Mr. Morant, how did you get that gun in that state? So the investigation, I believe, is underway. It sounds like it could get real ugly. There are rumors of 50-game suspension. Legally, I'm not sure the ramifications, but crossing state lines with weapons is usually not ideal without permission. So I'm sure that'll play itself out. But that's kind of the most recent update from the last time we spoke with you all. Kenny, as the veteran of the group that leads young men, I'm curious your opinion on this whole situation as it continues to play out. What you think thus far?
It's a sad situation. It's an unfortunate situation. It's a disturbing situation. There's so many different adjectives we could use to describe this, but I think the biggest thing is, man, it's just like we gotta, as a people, we gotta stop getting in our own way. Like he's basically on the verge of getting everything that he could ever want in terms of his career. You know, a signature shootout that's supposed to be dropping in the next few weeks. You know, max contract. You know, other brand deals and etc. And for you to do this, man, like, I honestly, like, I thought Paul Pierce was the one of the dumbest things that you could do in terms of what you could do on camera, but like Ja tops this, man. I can't believe that I didn't think anybody could ever do that. He like literally topped it. So I don't, you know,
And Paul Pierce did that after he retired, not while he was active in the league. He was just working for ESPN. If we talking about the same event,
like, you know, doing something like that on camera when you know you're employed by a major, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like in the same vein. I just couldn't believe it. But he's, you know, I think the biggest takeaway from this is he's going to have to really have to take a look at his inner circle and how he's moving and the people that he's moving with, and just anybody that's on. If you get a chance, you guys check out Mark Spears' article on ESPN on Anscape. He talked about John Morant needing to reach out to Carmelo Anthony as somebody that he could kind of talk to and to lean on as a mentor, because Melo early in his career, and Dev, you know, as a Baltimore guy, you know, early in his career, he was having some problems with the whole, you know, stop snitching, and, you know, yeah, and stuff like that. That kind of had a chance to derail him early in his career. So I really hope that Ja reaches out to, you know, Melo and guys like that. And I think the other thing is, and the last thing I'm going to say is that the Grizzlies really need to look into bringing in a veteran on that team to as a mentor, as a guy that's going to help these young guys, because these guys, a lot of these guys, this is their first time being in this type of spotlight in terms of being in the NBA, in terms of having this type of attention on them and national attention. So they're going to really have to look at bringing in a veteran presence to help these guys navigate it, because you can't, you know, you don't know how to move and operate in a place that you've never been before. So I just think that the Grizzlies really need to do that and do that as soon as possible.
Kenny, real quick before I turn it over to Dev, because I did have a question in relation to the organization and bringing in a veteran. There are another report that said that there was a team meeting led by Steven Adams literally hours before the strip club incident. So do you think there is a veteran that John Morant would respect their opinion? You say reach out to Carmelo. I haven't seen anything in his demeanor that shows any kind of reverence for anybody besides who he deems respectable. And given the way they've trash talked almost every team in the league, it's hard for me to believe he's going to listen to anybody. Do you think that's all brash and bravado, or what? You say bring in a veteran, who could they bring in that you think would have a real impact?
Honestly, I think it is somebody type like a Melo. You got to have somebody that has enough of a resume, enough of a cachet that's accomplished enough in the league to be able to, when I'm pulling you to the side, I'm pulling you by the coattail. If I'm holding you accountable, like, I have the cachet to be able to tell you, like, you can't bring in a you know, like a journeyman type of guy, or somebody that hasn't really, you know, accomplished a whole lot in the league, or a guy that's bounced around a lot. To your point, I don't think that's going to help, but you got to get somebody that has like a resume or has a cachet, kind of like, you know, kind of like Udonis Haslem type of the role that he plays for the Heat. I think you got to get somebody like that.
I hear you. In my opinion, if Steven Adams can't get it, I don't see an outside source getting it. Now, maybe if he gets suspended 50 games and he lose, well, I think the Supermax don't kick in the next year. So he won't even lose the same level of money. But 50 games is a lot of money, and their season's probably over. That, to me, sends the message way more than any person, because right now he's the face of Powerade. He just had his signature shoe. He signed the Supermax. They think and talk and act like they are the greatest thing in the NBA. He feel like he's good in the West, even after the KD trade. Like, they just seem resolute in whatever their belief system is. And knowing enough of those kids that I deal with, I'm not optimistic. I traditionally I would agree. I don't think Udonis Haslem can say a word to John Morant. I think it's going to be hard for Melo to say anything because you say he's accomplished, but what has he accomplished? Like, he's a great scorer. He's a legend in the game per se, but as far as resume, as far as championship pedigree, I don't know that he necessarily has that in the sense that Ja would respect what he's talking about. Can you relate? Maybe. Steven Jackson, I know, spoke on it. I'm just less optimistic that there's somebody that can get through to him and them, really. I guess is my concern.
I mean, it's a fair question. I just think, especially with Melo, like, you're talking about a guy that's top 10 all time in scoring, like, multiple time All-Star, a top 75 all time. Like, to me, that's enough of a resume to be able to get y'all's attention. I don't know about anybody else. To your point about Udonis Haslem, maybe that he may not be able to get, but Udonis Haslem about that action. So if you feel like you can disrespect him, you might Draymond him or something like that.
Oh man,
that works in Golden State. I don't think that's working in Memphis. Just my 2 cents. Anybody punch John Morant in Memphis? Yeah, you going. Go ahead and pack those bags, Playboy. But I hope I'm wrong. Usually I'm right, but hopefully I'm wrong, and this can get turned around. Dev, your thoughts with the recent developments?
Well, Nike, all I can say is
congratulations, you played yourself.
Because you were so quick to get rid of Kyrie. You were so quick and didn't do your homework on your next study. You know what I mean? And now you're in the same mess as you can say that Kyrie put you in, I guess. You know what I mean?
Don't put that on Kyrie.
I'm not putting it on Kyrie, but that's how Nike put it out there. Kyrie, it's your fault. You painted this picture. You did this to your, you know what I mean? So now you didn't try to take Kyrie's side. You didn't look into Kyrie's situation or anything of that nature. You was like, we got to hurry up and replace him. Who's the next?
Dev, let me correct you. They did look into it and still made that decision. Like, they looked into it and then they doubled down after they realized they came out and said he wasn't even anti-Semitic, just for clarity. Go ahead.
Well, and you still replaced the man for no apparent reason. You went on here and thought, oh, it's Ja. He likes to talk trash. He keeps the crowd into it. He makes it entertaining. So let's go to him real quick. Didn't do none of that homework on the guy. None. You know what I mean? What type of person he is? Is he brand worthy? I'm not saying that Ja is not, but if Nike is holding Kyrie this high, what makes you what other player can come in and not make a mistake now? Because you felt like Kyrie wasn't enough. So Nike, you played yourself on that one, and honestly, I'm kind of glad Nike did play themselves on that. Because like I said, I was telling my teammates like beginning of my little basketball season, they was like, "Yo, we should all get Kyrie's." I said, "No, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I would love to support Kyrie, but I'm not supporting Nike right now. You know what I mean? Don't try to kick the man off your brand and then try to make his shoe half off now, because he was one of your top sellers when he was on your brand. So Nike, you got what you deserve. As far as Ja Morant, dang kid, you mess your whole. You might have messed your career up a little bit. You might have hit a bump, a little stumble, but that don't mean his career is over with. I don't believe, because look at the Malice in the Palace. People always bring that up. People always look at the down side of that, but you got to remember those guys was able to come back into the league and finish their career off. It might not have been how they wanted it before the Malice in the Palace, but at the same time, those guys was able to get their name back into the NBA in a good spotlight. Now everybody respects Steven Jackson. Everybody respects Ron Artest. Even though Ron Artest might be a little crazy, but people respect them after that whole Malice in the Palace. So far as somebody like a Melo, Udonis Haslem, somebody, I believe that Memphis messed that up. Because you got to remember, in the beginning of last season, they had Andre Iguodala down there, and Memphis was saying that no, Andre, we're going to trade you. You're not going to be here too long. We're going to ship you out as fast as you came down here. And then that got a little turmoil between the players because the players felt like Andre Iguodala was the one that didn't want to be there, but the whole time Memphis was the whole reason why he didn't stay down in Memphis. I checked that on Club Shay Shay. Andre Iguodala was one of the guys Shannon Sharp had interviewed. He was disclosing all that. But Ja just he went overboard. He needs some guidance. He needs somebody to talk to. And obviously, no disrespect to his father, but obviously his pops must don't have a big influence on him when it comes to these decisions because just like when that whole Shannon Sharp situation got into it, his pops was in the situation too. I don't know if he was trying to play the peacemaker in the beginning, but his pops was in the situation too. So that lets me know that when stuff get hot headed, their family's ready to go off now. You can't really you can't hold like that like his father is. I'm not saying he's a bad father figure, but if your father's in the noise too, how is he there to calm you down? So he most definitely need to reach out to a veteran, somebody like an AI. Everybody was so against AI and how he was in the beginning of his career, how he wanted to come to some of the games and his chains and the outfits and his stuff. And even though AI did what he wanted, but he did it in a respectful way. He said, "This is who I am. This is me. Y'all either take it or leave it." And the NBA took it. They knew that AI wasn't out here being a gangbang or into street stuff or anything in that nature. They just felt like AI just wanted to be the guy that who he became to be. And I think that Ja need to reach out to him to figure out how can he express himself, you know what I mean, without actually putting himself in danger or in harms and stuff like that. Because if you done went to New York City traveling with a registered handgun, you get caught. That's time. That is time. They don't care who you are, what you do for a living. If they find that weapon, you're going down. So man, he most definitely have to reach out to somebody and figure out how to put his career back on the right track. His career over with, Ray. Is his career over with now?
No, it doesn't need to be. I heard everything else said, and most of it I do agree with, but I think there's certain aspects of this that we missing. This wasn't a guy speeding. This wasn't a guy that got caught cheating. This wasn't a guy that got attacked through his mouthpiece. This ain't that. This is an individual that repeatedly has criminal complaints about guns. He's had plenty of people in the media tell him, you shouldn't do that. This is a John Morant issue. I don't think this is a T Morant issue. As someone who's raising kids, your kids do stuff on their own. You can train them, but if they don't want to listen, they ain't going to listen. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we're seeing more and more of these incidents after he got his money. The incident last summer was right on the heels of him getting his money. The Pacers incident, he got his money. And you know what happened after that? Nike rolled out a signature shoe and Powerade said, we want you to be the face of our brand. So if I'm that guy, why would I stop? Because the money hasn't stopped. My motivation is to be a billionaire by 30. So to me, if the money don't stop, he don't care. Why he chooses to conduct himself this way, I don't know. He said he needs time to go away to figure out how to deal with stress and anxiety. I ain't got no problem with going to a strip club. I have a problem with you bringing a gun into a strip club and flashing it on Instagram Live. That's my issue. You got money. And I don't want to be this guy that piles on and just discredits him because there have been stories of him doing a lot of good with his money.
Mm-hmm.
But you still doing some idiotic stuff too. And I wouldn't have thought at this point in his life, with what the NBA has provided, with what his team has provided, with what his family has provided, with what the social media world has provided, what just common sense has provided, he shouldn't need any convincing to not do the stuff he's doing. These are conscious decisions. I don't remember, but I don't believe the Instagram Live was that long. It was just long enough for you to show us you had a gun, a really small gun.
Oh, but he had a deuce.
Of all the guns a rich guy like you should have, that wasn't the flag you were going for.
I knew it was coming.
Like, who's intimidated by that? He was holding it by 2 fingers.
Hold up. A minor would be scared of that, especially if you never got one flashed on you before.
You might not. You in Baltimore. You think the miners in Baltimore is worried about?
No. We didn't see stuff with that. Oh no.
Like
that wasn't the first time I got robbed on.
Like that. Like I could see if he had like some kind of rifle of some kind of magnitude. If you gonna flex. Don't like that pea shooter. Like,
don't give him no ideas. Don't give him no ideas, right?
Hey, if he listening to me, he should have heard a whole lot else. If that's all he took out of what I done said, then he got bigger problems. Like, I'm appalled. Like, I don't know the GPA standards for Murray State, but somewhere there was something missing. And I hope that statement he put out was real. I hope he does go get real help because he needed. Like, I don't say that lightly. I be joking with people like that's mental or slow, or I don't know what the correct terms are, but he got some stuff he got to get together. Allen Iverson, I think, is a great resource. That I think, Dev, you mentioned him. That to me makes a lot more sense. Maybe even Gilbert Arenas could shed some light on the gun aspect and the thug aspect and the bringing guns in locker rooms and team planes aspect. Might be a little late for that, but he could at least speak to that aspect.
Yeah, you don't want.
And maybe call Jarvis Crittenden and ask him, would this playing with guns get you? Like, you
take that collect call.
You ain't above, you know what I'm saying, going away to prison. Bigger men have fallen.
Crittenden is locked up right now as we speak.
I know.
Believe.
That's
so
why I said
definitely talk to him. That's for sure.
Because
we go to overtime. Boston going back to overtime.
They play a lot of overtime games. I ain't holding.
Because they can't hold lead.
But the difference in Crittenden and Arenas figured out, all right, that ain't the way to go. Jarvis Crittenden decided, well, I'm gonna double down. And now that's no good. John, great question. Yeah, this changes everything. Last episode, I said I did not think they would be able to catch Memphis. Brandon Clark tearing his Achilles is a big loss.
Yeah. A lot of energy.
As a defensive liability, Jaren Jackson's job just got exponentially more difficult because he's like it now. Steven Adams, he don't really play great defense. He's more of a rebounder and a stalwart inside, but that's going to be a big loss, especially if you run into a Phoenix, a Denver, who's a bigger team like that. I think I've been thought Memphis was in trouble, but this definitely gives the Kings a path. I just hope they continue to stay on it. I think they might slide a little bit to end the season as crunch time hits. This is not a Ye conversation. He seems to be doing great. It looked like the Lakers don't need Bron. You heard it here first. 80 looks like a different man. Listen, all I can tell you is what I see.
I ain't know my man Freddie was still a Laker fan. I thought he might have jumped ship like he did the Rams.
He's a Lakers fan when they win. He a Lakers fan when they win. Because they're cooking, exactly. Shout out to Freddie. Doing some big things where he's at. Unlike LeBron James, who's on the sideline.
I was going to give you the gunshot, but I felt like that was still directed towards my team, so I ain't even going to give you the pleasure.
Dave, you got somebody calling you out. He said you need to put a
Freddie,
name.
Man, Freddie, man, you be switching up sometimes, Freddie, man. 1 minute I heard you was a Giant, then you went to the Rams, then you went to the Raiders. I don't know, man.
Giants.
You went everywhere on the football, man.
All over the place.
Yes, indeed. Well, what's going on, man? What's going on? Glad to have you. Would have been great to have you for our NFC East talk, but you left the team for the loser Rams. You played yourself. Now you're stuck being a Rams fan for the future, and that don't look too great. Giants looking way better.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
But we can talk football at a later date. But no, to wrap this John Morant thing up, man, I do hope he gets the help he needs wherever it is. I don't know who it is. You are too talented. You have too much potential. Here's the other part of this that I think is important.
Oh my goodness, Freddie is on.
Freddie, we're not doing this. I've been on too many shows. I've been on too many shows.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're not derailing. You're not derailing this conversation with your nonsense.
I'm sorry. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing else Freddie said. That caught me off guard when he said that.
We're not doing that.
I don't switch up on anything. Who is?
Let's keep it moving.
We're going. He got more. He switched more than the guns of John Morant's guns. You know what I'm saying? This is ridiculous. But yeah, he just got to get it together. This is not a joking matter. This is a serious issue. He's too talented. And where I was going is when you look at the landscape of the NBA, there are no real American faces of the NBA. You got Giannis, you got Luka. The LeBron, Steph era is phasing out. Dame Lillard's phasing out. This next crop, we don't really have that.
Next generation, yeah.
He's the one we really got. When you really think about it, I don't Donovan Mitchell, maybe. I don't really think he can be that.
What about Tatum?
Oh, yeah, definitely Tatum.
I just don't know if he is exciting enough as a player like John Morant. Like to be the face of the NBA, I don't know if Jason Tatum is that kind of player. The LeBron, Kobe, AI, I don't think he's that. Like he has the skill set, but there's a personality. There is a persona that comes with it. That swag that Ja has, we love. But he just got to curtail it in such a way that it's productive and not harmful. So yeah, I don't think Anthony Davis is going to be it. Like he'll never take that mantle. Perennial MVP candidate. Zion can't stay healthy. So there's a void there. In my opinion, I don't know that Tatum fits that in the way that Giannis and Jokic and Embiid fit that face of the league title. So Ja, get it together, man. A lot of opportunities, and y'all playing around, y'all gonna miss this Memphis window too. People get old and people want to get paid real fast. So figure it out in small Memphis. That luxury tax hit a little different. I don't know what Houston's doing. They're a mess. 2 wins in a row now. Like
them and the Spurs look like they was in full tank move, but now the Spurs starting to win games too.
But
You know,
at the end of the day,
towards the end of the season, they gotta look like they're not
right. Look the part.
as long as you in the bottom 3, you get basically the same odds.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not super. Are they gonna win enough to get out of the bottom 3 spot? No, like they're trash. So they'll get their they can get their dice or their like it's not dice anymore. Ping pong balls, whatever the
Ball.
ping
numbers.
pong ball.
The best
you
of
got
luck.
craps on your mind, right?
Hey man, as a non-gambler, all gambling looks the same to me. Okay.
Hey, my man said, "Get the dice out." I said, "Click clap." It's okay.
The John Morant in me. What do you want from me?
Okay. Hold your gun, cowboy.
And other, we got those too. It's in Virginia. It's okay. It's real lenient here. Actually, I appreciate that. Maryland, not so much.
We don't want to get. We almost like New York. You don't want to get caught up here with it either.
I don't drive to Maryland with that thing because that's a problem I don't want. But speaking of people moving and crossing state lines, Derek Carr, and a surprise to me, I will be honest. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen the numbers yet. I saw it was a 4-year deal. I'm guessing it's big money with the numbers. They're talking about
150.
Oh, 150?
No, 150. That's right. Yeah,
150. Gino had the 105.
I saw Gino 105, but he got like 52 in the first year. So shout out to him. You want to talk about going and getting it. Hey, I hope he don't Matt Flynn them because they paid Matt Flynn a bunch of money off a very short run. Gino's run was longer. And they got money that they need to pay somebody because they ain't got no stars up there for real. So I get it, and I'm happy for him. But that was a lot of money, $100 million. Like, whew, God bless him.
Well, I think it's 52.
Yeah, the 52
guaranteed, something like that. So,
and that he might only get that, but that's a lot of money.
Oh yeah, no question.
I said it. He won the award. And I think he won. Did he win comeback?
Comeback player of the year. Yeah.
So he earned it. I'm happy for him. Don't get it twisted. I want him to get his money. I just wouldn't have gave it to him.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I guess my question for Derek Carr is: does he know Michael Thomas is leaving, or does he know Michael Thomas is staying? Because to leave this to pick before the draft. I don't get it. You weren't going to go to one of those bad teams that are going to draft a quarterback. So I didn't understand the timing in this selection, given the unknown of the draft and free agency. Like, I would have let stuff play out if you think you're that guy. Now, if you think Baker Mayfield and Jimmy Garoppolo and Jameis Winston and others are going to take jobs from you, then you secure a job. But if you are, quote unquote, the best quarterback on the market, we saw what happened with KD over the summer. Like, you can dictate when decisions are made because you're that big of a star in this class. So that part was surprising to me. The location's a bit surprising to me. If your goal is to win now, I don't necessarily see that, but that's my 2 cents. Dev, what you think?
I don't know what the hell Derek Carr was thinking on that one, because honestly, if I was Derek Carr, I hate to say it, I'd have went to Washington. Washington would have probably been my first choice.
Why you gotta hate to say that?
Because it's you. And I don't never like to agree with you that much, man. I hate to say it, man. I hate to say it because as soon as I said Washington Commanders, what else said I hate to say it, Ray would have been like, that's what I'm talking about.
Like a Christmas tree.
But I'd have went to. I think I'd have chose Washington, the Jets, and New Orleans would have probably been like my third or fourth choice. Most definitely the Commanders, because I believe y'all got better wide receiver weapons than New Orleans.
Already made.
Y'all got 2 good, decent running backs. That's already there. Y'all got a stout defense. So it is like I'd have tried to make my job I'd have make my job a little bit easier, because going to New Orleans, we don't know what's up with Mike Thomas. Mike Thomas was the top wide receiver in the game for for like a year or two, and then next thing you know, he just faded away. Jarvis Landry was supposed to have made some noise last year when he went down there. He ain't make no noise. Chris Olave was the only person that was down there fighting just because he was trying to most definitely get Rookie of the Year. But he was the only one that was down there making big plays. You forgot. And Alvin Kamara most definitely can't stay on the field. Yeah. Either he got legal trouble or he got injury trouble.
That's supposed to be decided before this year, right?
What?
The case he got out in Vegas. I think that's supposed to be settled before.
I think that's supposed to be decided.
Trial.
You put it on trial before like training camp and stuff like that.
So that's a good point. That's another unknown because that's a bad little situation he found himself in.
Yeah. So I don't know what Derek Carr was thinking, man. I most definitely I wouldn't have went to New Orleans. I'd have stayed. I'd have been waiting to see because Carson Wentz got let go. I'd have seen what was Daniel Jones. What was his situation? Is the Giants going to grab him back? We all knew the Jets wasn't going to bring no other quarterback into it. So if I was Derek Carr, I'd at least wait until the draft. I'd at least wait to see what certain quarterbacks was going, like what the Ravens going to do with Lamar. The Giants do with Daniel Jones. Stuff like that. Places where I know that I had no places to go in because they already got other quarterbacks in mind first. But New Orleans, I don't know. Remember, I picked New Orleans as my Super Bowl team because I looked at that roster last year. I was like, they can't go wrong with this roster. But now, I'm most definitely not jumping on that bandwagon.
Okay, John, appreciate the update on that. So, quite the distraction and definitely not what you want in training camp.
They want us together. Oh, dang.
Philly is looking to close out Embiid with another 40-piece. I remember y'all was I'm not even going to go there. But shout out to the big man, Max Player, putting up huge numbers, leading his team to a victory in overtime. Kenny, your thoughts? Derek Carr, did he make the right decision? Should he have waited it out? Should he have tried to convince Jerry Jones to come to Dallas? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not gonna test the last one.
You said he should have came to Dallas, swap the interceptions for interceptions.
Pick sixes.
What are we doing? I got enough problems with the guy taking care of the ball. I don't need another one. But no, I'm gonna kind of play devil's advocate on this one. I think the only way, if I'm Derek Carr, the only way that I'm making a decision this early or this soon is that he's got to have gotten some type of assurances that, one, Michael Thomas is committed to staying and that he's going to be healthy. He's going to have some semblance of health for next year, which is
sat out for a whole year.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So, and then, you still got Olave, assuming they bring back Jarvis Landry, and you thinking that situation with Kamara is going to be resolved. That's the only thing. And the other part is that that division is terrible. So you got a chance to sneak a division win out and get a higher seed in the playoffs. I think that's the other reasoning to it too, is because like he automatically just by default becomes the best quarterback in division
for
today.
Now.
I mean, like unless Aaron Rodgers or somebody of that sort somehow winds up with Tampa Bay or Carolina or Atlanta, which I don't see happening at all.
Lamar.
Yeah, maybe. But they're more talking about
Lamar in Atlanta
with the AFC East, but who knows?
Yeah.
Ray trying to trigger Dev over there.
He can't trigger me. I told y'all until I see it on the bottom of the ticker that Lamar either signed the deal or he's get traded. I'm not feeding into no rumors, no shenanigans, none of that.
Smart man. But yeah, I think that's the only thing that makes sense to me is that he felt like he had some type of assurance that he was going to have a good supporting cast going into this season in terms of his offensive weapons, and then he had a quick chance to steal a division real quick. That's the only thing I could think of him wanting to sign so soon.
Well, best of luck. And who's the head coach down there? Is Denny Green?
No,
Allen. I think that's the other thing too, is that he was the coach with the
Oh, yeah.
Raiders when he got drafted there. So there's also some familiarity there as well. So that could be it too.
Ooh, next back.
Well, we gonna see. Again, agreed. The division should be bad. So, best of luck to him and everyone else. But we do have to get to it. Lamar Jackson likely to be franchise tagged as they have not been able to come to a decision. This is Kirk Cousins seemingly all over again. I would have thought y'all would have learned as you had a very clear view of how this typically plays out. But here we are. Baltimore still hasn't figured out how to get Lamar Jackson signed. Dev, is it worth it for them to tag him, or should they just move on at this point?
It's man, it's so frustrating. It just because this should have been wrapped up so long ago. If they'd have wrapped this up at this MVP season, man, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If you really value him and you really if you the Ravens and you really want him, you got to place the tag on him until you figure out what's the next best move. But it like you said, Ray, this is like Kirk Cousins saga all over again. See, and don't get me wrong, Lamar's worth the money, but you really want to pay a guy $45 million just for 1 year, where you could have, you could have just locked up a contract like that. That's a lot of money. That's a lot, especially if you're trying to build the wide receiver core with them. You're still trying to add pieces and all this other stuff. That's not going to help us. That's most definitely going to hurt us, and that's going to put us in a we gotta win now type situation. Which means now you're going to just start just throwing in pieces, just to fill in where you could have just signed Lamar and you could have just built your team after you did that. So, it's not looking good for Baltimore. If I'm Lamar, if no other team is not willing to give me no big contract right now, I'll take that $45 million a year. You want to rip me for $45 million for a year? Hey, just remember that Ravens, our strength and conditioning is not all that. So that means if he get hurt again, that means we probably won't see him at the end of the season again. So it's just a very headache, frustrating time up in the Ravens flock. I can tell you that right now. It got to the point that now Ozzie Newsome is starting to make statements.
I saw that.
So and we haven't heard from Ozzie since he stepped down. You know what I mean? So it must be getting serious when Ozzie got to come out and start giving out interviews and stuff like that. And I'm starting to think that the Casa don't know what he's doing. Maybe Ozzie got to come back and try to build this team up again. Because you already see Bateman and DeCosta going at it now, and you ain't never heard Newsome going at it with no players. You ain't never heard Newsome get bad grades on drafting players, anything in that nature. So it might be DeCosta.
Kenny?
Yeah, no, I just think the last point is the thing that hits home for me. I think Ozzie Newsome, the fact that he's starting to speak up, I think that means that he's starting to involve himself in these negotiations and kind of stepping back in and taking a bigger role in the day-to-day operations. Because it seems like this is not just this is an issue not only to Dale's point with Bateman. It seems like there's a bunch of other issues going on, not just with the players, the strength and condition. There's a bunch of things going on now that's starting to fall on DeCosta's lap. So I think Ozzie Newsome coming in and trying to stabilize this situation is a telltale sign that this negotiation is kind of going over, or it's over DeCosta's head. And they're kind of calling in the big guns to try to get this thing right.
Yeah, I don't like to see the people that I love unhappy. I don't like to see the people that I care about go through tough times.
You lie like a rug.
What?
Bring it
Lie
in.
like a rug. You love seeing me miserable, so I don't know what you talking
Y'all
about.
in the same division, so we ain't got no choice.
Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even say that with a straight face.
That's
Y'all got-
a little different.
Y'all in the
That's-
same division in football. Y'all in the
Hey,
same
stop
conference
it.
in basketball. So
Stop
y'all
it.
got, y'all got a lot of back and forth.
That's only because he's trying to take what I want the most. Generally speaking, I want success and happiness. I want him to be good. He's just not. I want teams to be successful. They just don't win.
18 and 10. He's not okay.
Listen, that 18 and 10 is a thing of the past. We ain't got to waste no time on that. And so my thing
Boston
here
loses another one, fellas. Boston loses another one.
another overtime loss, and they had opportunities. They did have them. They did not convert them. I just don't understand what Baltimore's doing. Kirk Cousins, I understood why we didn't want to pay him. I didn't want to pay him. He didn't deserve to be paid, in my opinion. And Minnesota paid him, and I think they wish they wouldn't have paid him. Lamar's not Kirk Cousins. You built your entire infrastructure around his skill set. You can't just let him go and go get another guy with that collection of talent. It ain't built for anybody else. So the leverage is not there. Even if you don't pay Lamar, who you going to pay and what do you think you're going to have to pay him? With the way that they're talking about Daniel Jones money,
You'd have thought he won MVP.
Getting 40 M's. So if I'm Lamar, I'm like, but you know what though?
if Daniel
I'm
Jones is
chilling
at
if
40,
I'm Lamar. I'm waiting to see what happened with Daniel Jones before I do anything.
Daniel Jones, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, all of them.
Don't forget, Patty Mahomes just won another Super Bowl, and he's at 50. Daniel Jones is at 40. That's a real small window. So where you think Lamar going to be closer to? I just don't understand.
If you franchise him,
y'all don't have the leverage. So if you give him 40 this year, what you think you're going to give him next year when you actually have to pay him the deal? And that's why this is Kirk Cousins all over, because unless y'all have a plan or a number, y'all are just delaying the inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't believe he's worth whatever he believes he's worth. So this is a useless dance unless y'all get to a point where, like Jerry Jones said, you robbed me. So unless y'all get to that point, I just don't understand why y'all wasting time. And his style of play is not conducive to a long career. So if you don't believe in paying him long term, you don't want to give him the extra year on the deal, move on. Start over. And let somebody else try and win with him. And if they do, great. If they don't, more power to you. But I just want them to let the man go. Let him flap his wings. Let him.
Not as a Raven.
Let him go, flap his wings.
And see
That's
what
kind of
happens.
like all Ravens term to me. What you think, Kenny?
Let him go. You know, like if you ain't gonna do right, just get out the way and trade him or whatever. Like I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with that because I think Cleveland will bounce back. I believe in Deshaun still. I think they got to get some stuff situated. And I believe in Mike Tomlin. So I don't necessarily think a rebuild in that division is going to be quick.
That is not a smart thing to do.
But I don't see a solution going forward as it stands. I don't think if he stays, he's going to be happy. Like, y'all got bigger problems. And if I'm him and we got the worst training staff in the world, you going to have to pay me extra. Like, you think I'm about to play the way I play with this training staff? No. I need to be compensated for hazard pay because y'all can't fix me if I get broke. Y'all might aid in my being broken. Like, I just think that's
what Mike Davis said we did.
Yeah, he wasn't the only one that alluded to I was always healthy until I got here. So yeah, man, I think they got a lot of work to do. I think they should go ahead and just move on. They don't want him at what he believes he's worth. So, and the longer this goes on, the less leverage I'll have. So I didn't understand it last summer. I don't understand it this spring, and we'll see what happens. They better watch them fool around and take a quarterback in the first round. They trade him to take a quarterback.
So far, what's on the little speculation rumor that the quarterback from Florida is on our radar.
Oh, Richardson?
Yeah.
They saying he climbing the charts.
Now he's climbing the charts, but at first he was on our radar of drafting him.
To fall that far, where y'all draft at? Y'all in the teens?
We in the
20s, right?
We in the 20s, I believe.
Yeah, no, they got him. Yeah, they got him moving up into the top 10 now.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed. Now, given that DeJounte Murray with a big steal, Tyler Hero with the turnover.
I'm glad y'all said something about this game because I don't know if y'all seen with DeJounte Murray just had a finger roll air ball. That's why my face was all screwed up. I said,
I saw that.
Not too much on DeJounte now.
Definitely might be on Shaq and the Fool this week.
And then what is a travel now? It's like I thought you had to put the bar down before you take it 2 steps and go up, not take it 2 steps and then go up. Like,
hey, Alex, the whole front office is black. The new head coach gonna be black. We might as well. Like, go ahead. Let's go get him. I'm a Florida fan.
Ron Rivera, he's on thin ice up there.
Nah, he's done.
He is on thin ice. And as soon as he sneezes,
I don't know what our schedule is, but if we start 0-3, Ron's out of there. So we better get off to a good start.
If y'all go 0-3 in the preseason, he's out of there.
Here's how I know we have a problem with Ron Rivera. I'm hearing a bunch of Sam Howell talk. You still don't get it. You
over Heineke?
He don't get it. He can't see. He can't grade the position. Like, there's no reason this shouldn't be Taylor Heineke's team going into next year unless you draft a quarterback in the first round or sign a big-time free agent. Yeah. Sam Howell is not it. They can compete. You can make it a competition. Don't do this. You are wasting another year of your D-line and your young talent.
So I hope Chase Young.
I would trade him. But y'all know I'm the guy. I'll trade everybody.
Yeah, you out of there. No patience whatsoever.
I do have patience. Montez Sweat has already proven what he can do. Deron Payne has proved what he can do. Jonathan Allen has proved what he can do. Chase Young is a wild card with an injury history that has great trade value. Trade him. Like,
they said, well, Washington first is Dallas, Rams, and the Patriots.
Oh, we could probably go 3-0. We are. And what, 2-1?
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness?
I can give you 2-1, maybe.
Time for another round of drug testing in the network.
Hey, y'all tagging Tony Pollard. So y'all
who y'all running backs gonna be this year?
Y'all got to figure something out. Y'all got.
Zeke gonna get some money back.
Yeah. So if Zeke give money back, Pollard's coming off an injury. You know what that means? Dak is throwing the ball more. You know what that means?
No.
You know what that means?
No.
You know what it's gonna be
emotional. That's over with.
Hey, that I heard him say that. I did hear him say that. But what happens when you're unsuccessful running the football? You gotta throw it. And who's calling the plays now? Mike McCarthy?
Mike McCarthy's calling the plays, so we're gonna run the ball.
Congratulations.
Let's go, Mike. Let's go, Mike.
Okay.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
And with the defensive lines in our division, y'all better get the cold tub hot.
He needs some milk.
That guy's hurt. He needs some milk. That video is hilarious. I don't know if you ever seen it. That video is ridiculous. But in kind of sad news, and I should have clipped this, but I didn't do my job well enough, so y'all just gonna have to Google it yourselves. Byron Jones came out about it with I don't even know what the right word is, but disheartening, kind of traumatic to a certain extent. He came out with a tweet basically saying life is pretty freaking miserable for him post-career. I didn't even realize he had retired.
I didn't either. He was on the team last year. He was on IR in the beginning of the season.
The whole year. No, he never played last year.
So I think we all remember the combine, the athleticism that he possessed.
12.3.
And he's come out basically saying he can't run or jump due to issues that he's having in his body. Just for context, Byron Jones was drafted in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
He was born in 1992. Like he got paid. He got his money. So by all accounts, this is ideal. You have a young guy in the pinnacle of health and financially secure, you would imagine or hope to believe. And he's not in a good spot, and he has hopefully a long time to live. So obviously the concussion issue came and kind of went. What do you think is the future of football with Tua, Byron Jones? We've had a couple young people retire. Ratings, just the new version of this world that we're looking at. What does football look like 5-10 years from now? I'll start with you, Kenny.
I think we're going to see more of the same in terms of guys retiring younger and younger. It's just an unforgiving sport, and your body just and we even see to the extent with the NBA with this whole load management thing. I think that's what we're seeing on the NFL side, is that these guys are choosing their personal health over the game. And I just think that we're going to see that more and more. Even when you look at the college level, you see these guys sitting out bowl games and things like that because they want to preserve their draft status. I think guys are just going to keep on doing what's in their best interest, and more power to them, because again, this game is unforgiving when it comes to what it does to your body. So you got to do what you got to do to make sure you have a quality of life after football. So I just think it's going to be more of the same, and guys are going to choose their personal lives over the game.
Okay. Dev, your thoughts?
I agree with Kenny. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of players starting to retire young now. Once they get that first big contract, that's what it's kind of going to lead up to, because I think because the NFL is having a problem. The NFL, the players want to transition into a players league instead of an owners league. And I think the only way that the players is thinking that they can transition to a players league is if the best talent start leaving early. And, when these owners start thinking like, dang, if Lamar retire early, or if Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes start retiring early, who do we have? What do we have now? All our best product is starting to leave early due to these injuries. Because now it's what Byron Jones was saying is seek second opinion. Don't go by what the team doctor is telling you. And if you're not going to agree with the team doctor now, if your injury status is keeping you out 2 weeks, is what that team doctor is saying, but you go get a second opinion. Now the second opinion is telling you, oh no, that 2 weeks is unrealistic. You out for a month. It's like now you going back and forth. It's like, dang, is this team doctor only trying to telling me short of time just to hurt and put me back on the field? I don't trust them now. If I don't trust them, I'm not going to go to them. And I think that's where the players and the disconnect of the teams is going to start coming in. Because if you can't trust your team doctor, it's bad enough that now that the Ravens can't trust their strength and conditioning coach before. So if you can't trust them, you ain't going to want to work out for them, and which means now you're not going to be able to produce successful numbers or give you the best of them. So I think that as long as this power struggle between the owners and the players, that the players is going to just say, well, we're just going to leave early. We're going to take your money, the big contract early. And once we get that big contract, we done. And that's going to kind of make the game a little suck, man.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think my issue is they couldn't find a way to make the Pro Bowl entertaining, which was basically a way to say we want to play football without all the hitting and all the getting hurt. And so I don't know what the balance is. I don't feel like the medicine is able to keep up with the athlete evolution. Like the athletes are just 300-pound linemen are running 4.5 40s and 4.6 40s. Like, what do you do with that? When that man running that fast hits a standing quarterback in the back, like what do you think is going to happen? When the guy that can bench press 225 25 times and can run 4.5 and you run a slant and he can't hit you high in your head, so he hits you in your chest. Like, what do you think the human body's response to that's going to be as the pads get smaller and smaller to make you more and more aerodynamic and faster? Like, I don't see the solution, to be perfectly honest, and I don't want to be the morbid guy, but I think either the players just going to be broke up or the NFL is going to drastically change. And given the money behind the NFL, I don't see it drastically changing. So ultimately that could lead to an impact on the product that you see out there, because we've seen what happened when Pat Mahomes or somebody has to go out and there's a backup quarterback. We saw what happened to San Francisco when they lost 2 quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. We saw the Denver game a couple years ago when their quarterback room all got COVID. Like,
and you know what's crazy also too? Look at the XFL. Look at Aaron McCarron, AJ McCarron. I don't know. He said he rather took the deal with XFL so his kids can see him play, rather him playing backup. So if players are starting to say, you know what, let me take my talent somewhere else, you know what I mean, just to get me some bump. Now you starting to lose some more product.
Arena League, for what it's worth, Antonio Brown just bought an Arena League team. Arena League is coming back.
Canadian football still
USFL is there as well. It's another one.
So there's
that spring league also.
Yeah, the USFL.
Okay.
So no, I think we're seeing, you know, a shift. And I don't think it's something that's going to happen overnight. I don't think football is going anywhere by any stretch. But we see baseball tinkering, trying to get more eyes and views. Soccer is growing in this country. Boxing and combat sports seem to be getting back to a mainstream on both sides, despite what Logan Paul or Jake Paul might be doing. Like, it's bringing eyes and attention. This Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia fight is going to be really big.
Mm-hmm.
If Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford together, even if Usyk and Fury fight, like, there are a lot of big fights that are going to bring money, and the NFL don't get comfortable. And I don't know how you necessarily improve the product right now. So yeah, I'm hopeful as a fan of football, but realistically, I think it's just going to come to a crossroads where contracts or stipulations or stuff is going to be put in these deals, because I don't think it's going to get better for these players' health. And then if you can't rest, because if load management isn't helping, then it's not really a rest issue.
Sometimes you can't even load manage because you got a game on Sunday. Some teams play on Thursday.
Yeah, it's not. It's not even, and especially with the
and you only got
length of the season.
games.
That's right. The length of the season, you can't
miss
afford
3 games. That's a big deal.
That's what I mean.
And you know the number one rule in the NFL: your best ability is availability.
That's a fact
That's
too.
A short window.
So I don't know, y'all. We're gonna see what happens. Obviously, NFL is the NFL, but I'm pretty happy with sports right now, and the NFL ain't on. So we will see. In petty news, y'all know I like being petty. The NBA found a loophole. And this is to me, this is Adidas dropping Ye. This is Nike dropping Kyrie. This is a large organization overreacting to something that's really small. And you just don't need to potentially alienate Giannis. Like, who cares if he got a triple-double? Like, I think J.R. Smith or somebody did that shot at the wrong basket at the end of the game.
No, that was
Will Bart. Somebody, I forget who it was.
Oh, man,
Ricky
Davis. There you go.
Ricky Davis.
Like, are y'all so miserable at the league office that y'all is wasting time on this? It was one thing, drug testing Dame, who doesn't like needles. After his 71-point performance,
anybody except for Luka. So, quick question: did Luka get tested after he dropped his 61 triple double?
I think Luka did. Donovan Mitchell, I know he got tested out this 71-point game. Devin Booker, I think, might have got tested out this 70-point game.
He did.
Like,
I don't think Luka though. I don't recall Luka coming out saying.
That would be interesting, but I think the issue with Luka is his type of play. I don't think he's taking care of it. It ain't like he fast.
Doesn't matter. He don't drop triple doubles as much as Russ.
If
I can see.
Like, I'm sure Jokic is not getting drug tested. Like, I see the numbers.
Well, we don't need to drug test him. Because he's suffering the Byron Jones before he even took the medicine. He most definitely ain't jumping.
That man can't jump over a phone book.
He couldn't jump over a ham sandwich.
Kenny, a lot of our listeners don't even know what a phone book is.
I know, right?
What that means. How thick is that? We don't know.
Oh, man. If y'all don't know what the yellow pages is, it's time to go night-night.
Talk about companies not evolving or blockbustering. But yeah,
Blockbuster did evolve. They involved the Netflix, didn't they?
No, they evolved out of business because.
Well, I know they went out of business, but I thought they eventually turned into Netflix.
I mean, that pretty much what it kind of evolved into, I guess you could say, but it wasn't.
I thought Blockbuster might have had some.
It wasn't Blockbuster's choice.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry, Blockbuster. I tried to save y'all. An epic fail.
So, right now we have the Nuggets at halftime, and we're waiting for the Kings to start. Let's go, Kings. Gino, I think he was overpriced, but I think it's fair. And John, I'm sorry if I didn't get to this soon enough. I'm happy for him. You can call it luck, but that's a lot of luck to win that many games and play that well for that long. That wasn't a Nick Foles run he went on.
And Russ didn't do it.
And Russ didn't. Russ ran from it. He just not do it. He ran his tail up out of there, tried to get people fired, then dipped out.
Yeah.
Then he going to stay. I ain't trying to get them fired.
Then he going, let's
ride. I love them.
Ride the franchise into the ground.
That's right.
He tried to kill. He killed two franchises. Pissed off the Legion of Boom and that defense, and then got to Denver, and they looked like show ponies.
I'm gonna definitely find that little clip of Let's Ride. We're gonna play that every time we get on here. Every time we talk about Russ, we're gonna hear his voice. I'm gonna find that clip.
You know what Bone Thug said? Let's ride, let's ride.
Ain't all they said.
Yeah, we know. We're show here. We love the kids. Calvin Ridley is back, ladies and gentlemen. The Jaguars finally started to put it together, it appeared. And now they get the infusion of Calvin Ridley, who they stole for nothing. What do we think of Jacksonville given their division next year? Dev, I'll start with you.
I think to give them a better shot a little bit. Now that I'm not gonna say you have a number one wide receiver, but now you can hide Christian Kirk a little bit better. Maybe. I don't know what's the state that Calvin Ridley is in or what type of conditioning he's in, but I'm pretty sure he's hyped to get back onto the football field. Because I don't think his suspension should have been this long. We didn't let people get away with murder.
Heck no.
And they still came back before him. But I just think that it gives Jacksonville another weapon. Oh, that's messed up. I think he learned from his lesson to be truthful. But it gives Jacksonville another weapon, because they just put the franchise tag or 1 year deal on Evan Ingram.
Yeah, they put the franchise.
So
I think they'll figure it out. I don't think you got to play this year on the tag either. I think they're gonna figure that out. They just got to get.
They giving Trevor Lawrence some weapon. You know, I mean, something to build on it and not try and let him drown down there. So I give him that. I don't know how big of addition he's going to be.
Here's what we want to know: is it championship or bust for Jacksonville?
It's bust. It's bust. It's bust. It's bust.
How? They should win their division. No,
that I'll give you. They should win.
They win that division because Tennessee's also. I heard they might be shopping. Derrick Henry.
Yeah. So their division will lose. That's Jack.
So if Derrick Henry leave, it's most definitely Jacksonville division.
So why we ain't talking championship?
Because they ain't going. You think they're gonna get past a team like Cincinnati? You think they're gonna get past Buffalo? You think they're gonna get past Kansas City?
Buffalo ain't showed me nothing yet. They ain't did nothing in the playoffs.
They didn't beat Kansas City. You think they're gonna beat Kansas City?
Okay, outside of Kansas City.
Are you picking them over Kansas City?
No.
Okay.
So Ray, I don't know why.
Whoa. So what y'all saying is,
here you come, ladies and gentlemen.
If you don't think you can beat Kansas City, we don't even need to talk about you. You're not a contender.
I don't think Jacksonville.
I don't think anybody in the AFC can beat them.
So let me ask you this.
But I think Jacksonville's in that next tier.
So do you have Jacksonville over Buffalo?
I need to see it with Ridley.
That's a no.
That's a no.
I need to see it with Ridley, but on paper, I say yes. I think they are better than Buffalo.
So you think Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley is better than Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs?
I think Jacksonville's team from top to bottom, offense to defense, and I think coaching's a wash. I might even give Buffalo the advantage in coaching, but I don't see them being significantly better than Jacksonville. I think Josh Allen has still been shaky in big games.
Hey, Rod, go to sleep, Rod. Go to sleep, Rod.
Oh, yeah.
Rod be talking wild. I don't know where Rod at, but they got good drugs where Rod at. Rod be rocking.
Ooh, that's a good one, Alex.
But what do you have to give up to get him? Because you got to trade for him. He ain't free.
Lord have mercy, boy! If they were able to pull that off,
but they get Derrick Henry. That's we having a different conversation. It's a 2-team race. But we thought that last year, and the AFC West was trash. Outside of Kansas City, and the Chargers, that ship has sailed. Nah. He had the year off the year before last, so he just had a busy last year. And Rod, what are you doing?
He's got to be from Boston.
I thought he was a Lakers fan. He was on here talking crazy about the Lakers.
I think he is a Lakers fan. I can't remember.
From Boston.
A Boston?
Nah, he ain't. I don't think he's from Boston.
The Patriots. Sound like he's talking like he's a Patriots fan.
Yeah, he might be on like some shrooms or something. God bless. No, that's popular. But yeah, I don't. So yeah, let's get to.
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness?
And John, good point. Jags got mad picks. They got some picks. So I'm bullish again.
Well, I think you have the one for sure. We could say that they're the favorites for the division.
Well, no, they are
going. No, right now, already,
sure.
Just right now, we should say that they're the favorites for the division, and we could just leave it at that.
So you only got to beat 2 teams. We'll see. Should have a good record. Speaking of records, Jon Jones, ladies and gentlemen, got off his couch, walked into the octagon, and in a matter of moments, choked out another grown man.
You being too kind. You being too
It wasn't
kind.
more than 2 minutes.
No, it was only a minute and 25 seconds.
Ah, dang. I didn't pay for it. And I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I watched it. The chick fight before this fight was a better fight.
Man, that was a good one.
That was a good fight. I don't know the name of them chicks, but they was all right. And I ain't even a fan of women combat sports, but they gave us a show. That girl jumped on that girl back and dropped her on her face. Like, that was something to watch. But Jon Jones, we'll start here.
One of them was called Graciado, and I can't.
It's cool.
I can't pronounce the first name.
Yeah, if you didn't watch it, it don't matter. And if you did, you know what we're talking about. Rod, why are you talking like that from here?
Yeah, DMV, okay. Lakers fan and Patriots fan. What a combination.
I don't know what happened. That's interesting. Maybe he's a Lakers fan because of Kobe. I was a Lakers fan because of Kobe. And I was never a Patriots fan, but I'm a Brady fan. So I can kind of see it, but not entirely. And that is my concern, Rod, is that Jon Jones celebrated.
Oh boy.
I'm almost at the point in sports, and I know this is radical, y'all. Bear with me. If you are good, who cares what drugs you do?
Hey.
If I can knock you out, that sucks for you. Why do we have drug testing in sports? If I can beat you up, if I can score over you, if I can still throw the ball at a high level, sports as fans are being robbed of great Josh. We missed Josh Gordon's prime because of weed. Like
XFL getting them now.
You said what?
The thoughts?
Yeah, XFL was getting
the version. They're getting the tatered and tattered version. That's not the real Josh Gordon. That's like the counterfeit brand. Like,
they ain't the real Gucci.
We had the war on drugs. It failed miserably. We've had the crack epidemic, the opioid epidemic, weeds being legalized. My girl was telling me in Canada they're trying to legalize and make cocaine available, synthesizing it.
What?
Hey, do your own research. Those are her words, not mine. Don't quote me, but that's what she said. And I married her.
I guess because their health care is free, they say, "Hey, you might as well just."
we got the suicides growing in different healthcare in states. Let it be free reign. If you want to do PCP and go out there and get buckets, go get buckets. Like, I just don't care anymore. Like, who are we to say that you can't play our game?
And his alone.
Like Delonte West, like if you get that bad and you end up out the league, you just end up out the league. But let people be free to make a living how they see fit if they are capable. We just got drug testing needs to go away for all jobs. For pretty much
Stop
all
it.
jobs.
Get some help.
Just get it out of here. Like we're done here. We're losing out.
I cannot see. I'm legally blind.
Like, there's no way that man that's done those drugs did that performance that fast. Like, he should be able to fight. Don't test him no more. Whatever's in there is in there, and it's a free for all. Performance enhancing, maybe you want to do that, but like hard drugs, I don't care. If Mike Tyson wanted to do cocaine, he should be able to do cocaine. Like, I just feel like people, if Lamar Odom needed to do crack, Lamar Odom should be able to keep doing crack. Like, he was 6th man of the year on crack. We tried to get him off crack, and then look at him. Like,
he got himself a Kardashian.
Just let people be who they want to be. And let's just keep having
that's crack in itself. That's a whole other subject.
White is white. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want us to do? So that's my 2 cents. I know y'all, there's some pushback I heard from you guys, but That's just my opinion. I think it just let it be what it's gonna be.
You said it. You nailed it right there. That's your opinion. We're gonna leave it at that.
All right,
I
shout out
found
to
that.
Jon Jones.
I found your opinion very entertaining.
That's for sure.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. Gotta love it. But there was another fight. There was boxing that took place. Did y'all see the Mark Magsayo and Brandon Figueroa fight?
Yes, sir. I've seen all the fights.
What a fight. Like, you want action, you got action. You want power, you got power. You want volume, you got volume. You want people standing in the pocket, you got that. You want people exhausted, punching their arms basically fall off, you got it. Like, just a phenomenal performance by Brandon Figueroa. That he came out hot, then he started to fade. I did not agree with the scoring of that fight. Them refs was on Jon Jones drugs, but they did get the end result right. So I can't fault them too much. And I guess if the athletes are on drugs, it's cool if the referees are too. Like, because they be tripping. Some of these boxing referees, I don't know what they be seeing. LASIK should be free for all boxing judges because they be tripping. But yeah, I thought really good fight. And there was Jared Hurd, DMV's own.
He let me down, man.
I think that's it for Jared Hurd.
I think
it's
so
official.
too.
He can't walk through people like he used to, and he's not skilled enough to outbox people.
His defense sucked too.
Yeah, and it's non-existent. He's like, it's trash. So yeah, it was sad to see him kind of go out. He went out on his shield. The fight got stopped. His mouth was so beat up and cut.
He had a hole in his mouth. He had another hole.
Hey, this last round, just sit this out. Go get some ice. Go get some milk. He need some milk.
He need to go get that stitched up.
Yeah, staple or something, because that looked pretty bad. But no, good weekend in fights, in my opinion. Dev, you seems like you watched more. What was your thoughts on the fights this weekend?
Jon Jones, hey, if he was on drugs, you can make a person tap out that fast. I think you need to keep on with it. Figueroa, that was a good boxing match, honestly. I think that was almost at least top 5 of this year.
For sure.
Because they most definitely put it all on the line. They met in the middle of the ring and just said, no, we're not doing no ropes. We're not going no corners. We're going to stand right here in this phone booth and we're going to box it out. And the best man win. Whoever got the best cardio, the best stamina wins. And Figueroa had the best stamina, or he at least know how to conserve his enough to last all 12 rounds.
He ate a bunch of body shots.
Yeah.
Like, he just kept coming. So shout out to his conditioning.
And I thought he was going to drop at least 2 of them. I was like, oh man, he take another one of those. He's going down.
He kept coming. But
yeah, he stayed alive, and defense wasn't a factor in this fight either towards the end, because both of them was taking a lot of shots. But shout out to Figueroa. He outboxed his opponent. It was a good one. Like you said, Hurd, man, I think that was it for him, being that he's 32 years old now, or 30. It's like 32, 34, somewhere up in that range. I don't really see him really coming back no more. And if he do, it won't be like no big card. I think he's going to be like almost forgotten almost. He didn't really put on no defense at all. He was just out there just for it to be a punching bag, in my opinion, because he was just getting tagged everywhere. Didn't matter where he placed his face there, he was getting tagged. So it sucks to see him go out like that, because I really don't see him coming back after this fight. But to the Jon Jones one, man, like you said, bro, I'm glad I didn't pay for that one, because it happened so fast. It was like, soon as main man turned his back, it was over. You know what I mean? It was most definitely over. So yeah, shout out to Jon Jones. And another thing, man, I didn't know Jon Jones was related to the Jones that's in the NFL.
Yeah, Chandler Jones.
Yeah, I did not know that. whole family is full of champions and stuff like that. So shout out to the Jones family.
They're probably going to test Chandler Jones after last weekend. I'll give you that, Rod. AD was big time, but we know AD can be big time. How often can AD be big time? How consistently?
Just staying healthy. Yeah, that's the only thing stopping.
Stay healthy. I'm tired of Charles Barkley calling him free throw.
Yeah. So yeah. Good fights this weekend. I showed y'all last week some of the fights coming up. So we definitely have some good stuff going there coming up this week. Rolly will be fighting again. I know everybody think he's trash, but I'm excited to see him fight, see how he bounced back, because that's a tough way to take your first loss. It's an embarrassing way.
Is this weekend that he fighting or a couple of weeks from now?
I think it's in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Is he on Showbox or is he on regular?
It'll be on Showtime.
It can be on Showtime.
No, I mean, is he in the Showbox card or is he on a championship boxing card? I didn't see it.
They advertised it, so I think he's on the championship. They highlighted him in their montage of upcoming fights.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, we got Caleb Plant in 2 weeks. We got Javante Ryan Garcia next month, and there's a bunch of other fights. So we will definitely be tuned in. Rod feels very strongly about Rolly. I do
called him a cat.
Really share that.
They called him a cat.
That's one word.
That's the only word I can say right now.
Yeah. It was the Mellow and KG and Lala.
Whoa,
talking about that. Cheerio.
Call that man a honey. What do you call Lala? Honey nut Cheerio or something like that.
See, Mellow matured. John Morant probably should talk to Mellow. But yeah, we're getting out of here, I guess, a little bit early for you guys. I don't really have nothing else unless y'all do. I'm older.
We talked about all the good stuff today, man.
Yeah. Shout out to the Kings right now. Hopefully they finish up, get that dub.
Yeah, let's go, Kings. Help the Lakers out. Let's go.
Before we go, let me say one more thing. Another guy that's really gone under the radar of criticism that got paid is standing at the free throw line right now. Now, I know Zion Williamson got hurt, but they was in first place. What happened to Brandon Ingram?
He's been in and out the lineup too. Yeah. 1 minute he's
been in and out, but he's played a decent amount of games that since Zion's been out.
Yeah. But I think he's still averaging over 23, if I'm not mistaken.
He's putting up good numbers. They just haven't been winning.
Yeah, and
that's my point. If you're supposed to be him with CJ by your side and the rest of this roster, y'all shouldn't be plummeting like this.
But I think New Orleans is suffering not having a true point guard. Somebody that can
put CJ and Brandon Ingram both campaigned to play that type of role. So I don't think the team was built. That's why you let Drew Holiday go. Is because you think you got a ball handler in Brandon Ingram that can play that combo Tatum-ish role that I don't want to compare him to Kuzma. I think he's on par, maybe even better. But that ball handling forward, and it's not working. Jose Alvarado ain't it.
He's a backup.
I'm just saying I'm looking at Brandon Ingram a little different. Like this was supposed to be a team before Zion came here. And you have you've done very little to
especially since he came back. Like he's been to your point, he's been back for a little while now, and he's still been sliding. So
yeah, they're at 31 and 33 at this point. You don't want to be. Let me be clear. Right now,
they are in the mix with the Lakers, Utah, and Portland, all with the same record right now.
I don't want to see none of those teams in the play-in. None of them. So
I don't know. About it is you might not see none of them, especially if you lose. If the Pelicans lose tonight, they're gonna be dropped. They're gonna have us all had the same record, and now it's gonna be based off who had the better against each other one-on-one record now. And if New Orleans don't have a better record against Utah, Portland, or LA, they're gonna slide down back into the 11th spot now.
Yeah, it gets scary fast.
Yeah,
We can talk
down
about
to the wire.
Colorado a little. We talked about them last week, so I won't. I am very curious to see because I was talking to somebody. Their schedule is not fun. I can pull it up real quick since we do have some time. But they gonna have some work on their hands.
Oh yeah.
I forget who they start. They start the year, I think, against TCU. Coming off an embarrassing bowl performance. So a statement, and Dion in top Power 5 is a little different than Dion at Jackson State. When Colorado comes to your city now, it ain't just Colorado coming. Prime time's coming, which means media preparation, attention's coming. So you ain't gonna sneak up on nobody that's Colorado anymore either.
That's a fact.
Y'all, they better be ready. There's no doubt that Dion won't get them ready, but yeah, at TCU to start the season, then Nebraska, Colorado State, then at Oregon, USC, at Arizona State, Stanford, at UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona, at Washington State, at Utah in the Pac-12 championship game. So you saying 7 wins? We're gonna see.
Do y'all think Colorado? When will Colorado make their first big bowl game? Not none of those holiday bowl games just to get you by. I'm talking about. You don't think so? Not under Prime.
I think he'll leave before they get to a big game. I don't think he's there for long term. By the time his son is gone, he's gonna be gone. I think he might do 2, maybe 3 years. If they're successful, he's definitely not lasting more than, I think, 3 years. If he gets humbled, quote unquote, if he can't recruit, even though he just flipped, I think at Alabama.
He's recruiting out the gate. So
I think
that's going to be the problem.
I think that'll be fine, but I just like a New Year's 6 bowl. I don't think they'll do that. Could they get? There's so many bowls. I don't even.
Yeah, that's why I was saying the big one, the main one.
I think the best case scenario is in 3 years he's playing for a Pac-12 championship. Yeah,
I think I can see that. I can definitely see that. That's almost a recruiting cycle. I can see that, but this year I don't see it. That'd be great. But that's asking a lot.
But I do want to say this though. I think Dion needs to walk back his comments of the what he was saying about the recruiting and with the defensive linemen. He wants defensive linemen from single parent homes.
That was. I didn't even. I've heard that. I didn't even want. I've been hard on Dion, but
I think that was a little. I get what he was trying to say. I just think he chose. It was a poor choice of words. So I think he's like, if he hasn't walked that back, I think he's going to.
Especially with this day and age now, anybody will flip anything.
The issue is he's targeting Black culture really in that statement, and people don't really care about it, so it's not going to get the outrage.
Yeah,
because it's been said, and I've seen little talked about it. Granted, Jon Morant has dominated news headlines, but there's not going to be a need for him to walk it back. There's not going to be enough public outrage.
Yo, Rod is on.
And now that I know Rod's in the DMV, we got some good drugs in the DMV. So
the fences.
And if you're in the DMV, they got 1,000 weed joints that you can go in and buy. Rod, you be living. I respect that.
Shout out to my Morgan State, my HBCU in Baltimore, but nah, Doug. Nah, Doug. I can't ride with you on that one.
Nah, we're gonna leave that alone.
You talking about halftime show?
See, he did that. But yeah, man, appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blast this weekend. Y'all stay safe. Wait, it's Monday.
I guess it's Monday.
We will see y'all on Thursday by all account.
They say, you don't want to see us no more this week?
Should have a good Thursday night game coming up this week. So we'll definitely be covering that for y'all. And yeah, we will continue to cover news as it comes. Should be some more fights this weekend as well. And we're going to get into this playoff stretch that we have here. Make sure y'all watch the Kings. Get this dub tonight. Or the Pelicans. I'm good either way. Yeah,
I need the Pelicans to lose. I'm sorry. I know I was rooting for them. I was rooting for them in the beginning, but now since they down here in Laker basement,
I understand.
I need y'all to lose now.
I understand.
Oh man. Well, so be it, fellas. Y'all have a blast. We will be back on Thursday. Take care.
All sports, all plays.